Sophia's life was turned upside down after the birth of her triplets, who all had dark skin. Her husband, Lucas, was furious and, feeling betrayed, demanded she leave their home. He refused to be involved with her or the children. In the years that followed, Sophia faced overwhelming challenges, but things were about to take an unexpected turn. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and if you enjoy stories like these, don't forget to subscribe for more captivating narratives. Let's dive into the adventure. One day, a commotion outside the hospital caught the attention of staff. A man named Lucas was unloading bags from his car and angrily dumping them at the entrance. Security approached him, trying to calm him down, but he ignored them and began resisting. When they tried to restrain him, he lashed out, striking one of the officers before being subdued. Once they had him under control, Lucas told a shocking story. He accused Sophia of infidelity and claimed she had tried to pass off another man's child as his. Both he and Sophia were white, so the birth of 3 black children didn't make sense to him. He declared their marriage over and insisted that Sophia go live with the man she'd supposedly cheated with. The bags he had brought to the hospital contained Sophia's belongings, and Lucas made it clear that he didn't care how she was feeling after childbirth. He wanted nothing to do with her. Sophia, still weak and recovering from the birth, was devastated. She couldn't believe Lucas was actually kicking her out, especially with the babies so young and needing her care. He had been in the delivery room but left as soon as he saw their dark-skinned children, assuming she had cheated on him. Sophia had hoped they could talk through it, but instead, she found herself abandoned in the hospital with no one to turn to. Days passed, and Lucas refused to answer her calls or texts. He had completely shut her out, leaving Sophia to care for her newborns alone. But as she gazed at her babies, questions began to form in her mind. She knew that the situation surrounding their birth was mysterious, but she had no answers, and without knowing the truth, things could only get worse. Desperate, she reached out to her mother, Elizabeth, who immediately came to her side. Elizabeth could hardly comprehend how something so joyful, a birth, could lead to the destruction of a marriage, but she supported her daughter unconditionally. Elizabeth helped Sophia pack her things and take them to her own home, then returned to the hospital to assist her. Raising 3 newborns was overwhelming, but Elizabeth took charge, ensuring that Sophia had her meals and could rest while also helping to care for the babies. Sophia was emotionally and physically drained, and losing Lucas only made things harder. The stress took a toll on her health, and she developed a high fever. Thankfully, she recovered quickly, but the emotional scars were deeper than any physical illness. Despite everything Lucas had done, Sophia still believed there was a chance to reconcile. She hoped that if she could uncover the truth, he might return to her, but her world shattered once again when she received a notification from their bank. Lucas had emptied their joint account, taking all the savings that Sophia had worked hard to build. This was the final straw. He had not only abandoned her, but he had also stolen from her. Sophia realized Lucas was determined to ruin her. He had taken everything from her, her home, her money, and her peace of mind. She filed a police report, but the authorities struggled to locate him. Lucas had fled the state after taking the money, and with no trace of him, Sophia was left to pick up the pieces of her broken life. Though she was devastated, she refused to let Lucas's actions define her. With her mother's support, she moved to Elizabeth's condo and began rebuilding her life. Despite the setback, Sophia was determined to provide for her children. She found a job, though it didn't pay well, and worked tirelessly. As the triplets grew older, she took on multiple shifts to ensure they lacked nothing. Life seemed to stabilize until the triplets turned 5. A new nightmare began when strange and disturbing notes started appearing at their home. These notes, often graphic and threatening, accused Sophia of infidelity and promised terrible consequences. At first, the notes arrived by mail, but soon they started turning up inside the house, always placed in different spots as though someone had been inside. Sophia was terrified. She suspected it was Lucas, still tormenting her even from afar. Fearing for her children's safety, she contacted the police, but they were unable to catch him. He was still one step ahead of them, continuing to elude capture and create fear in her life. In an effort to protect her family, Sophia installed security alarms and changed all the locks on her mother's house. She focused on her work, preparing for an upcoming promotion, and did everything she could to maintain a sense of normalcy for the triplets. When the day of her interview arrived, she nailed it, securing the promotion she had been working so hard for. But just as things seemed to be looking up, her worst fears returned. After picking the children up from school, one of them handed her a note, another threatening message from Lucas. It sent chills down her spine. The note promised that no matter how hard she tried to move on, he would always be able to terrorize her. Sophia called the police once more, and this time they decided to follow her home. They conducted a search of the area, but there was no sign of Lucas. Nonetheless, they kept a watchful eye on her house for the next few days. Despite the constant fear, Sophia had a difficult decision to make. For the safety of her family, she decided to move to a different city, far away from Lucas's reach. This meant leaving her new job and the promotion she had fought for. It was a painful choice, but one she had to make to protect her children. The triplets were upset about leaving their friends in school, but Sophia explained that their safety was more important. The family relocated to a new city, and over time, they built a new life. Sophia found a job that suited their needs, and they settled into their new home. Slowly, the haunting memories of Lucas's threats faded into the past. Years later, when the triplets turned 10, Sophia planned a celebration for them, a moment of joy, a reminder of all they had overcome. But during the party, the doors suddenly swung open, and there stood Lucas. He looked tired, worn, as if life had finally caught up with him. Lucas immediately began apologizing, asking for forgiveness. He wanted to accept the triplets as his own and make amends. For a moment, Sophia wondered if she was being pranked, but his sincerity was undeniable. He revealed a surprising truth. He had always known the children were his. His mother had confessed to him that she had had an affair with a black man and had been terrified when Lucas was born with a light skin. To keep the secret, she had kept it hidden. But when the triplets were born, the truth had been exposed. Lucas admitted that he had been wrong to accuse Sophia of cheating. His intention had been to break up with her and claim the children weren't his, using the situation to justify his abandonment. He had stolen the money and left, but life hadn't been kind to him. His new girlfriend had left him once the money was gone, and Lucas finally realized the value of Sophia and the children he had abandoned. He had come to beg for forgiveness, but Sophia, though tempted, couldn't forget the pain he had caused. She reminded him of the way he had kicked her out when she was nursing, the cruelty of his threats, and how he had tried to destroy her life. She couldn't take him back. Lucas, dejected, left. The police were called and he was arrested. Sophia, finally free from his torment, could focus on providing a safe and happy life for her children. She would eventually tell them about their father, but for now, all that mattered was their well-being. Though it had been a difficult and painful journey, Sophia had triumphed. With the love and support of her mother, she had turned her life around. The past was behind them, and she was finally ready to enjoy the future with her children, free from the shadow of Lucas's cruelty. Do you feel that Sophia was justified? Please let us know in the comments. Also, like and share the story, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel